Today we just finished our Gita course, 6th edition. Some of them are still there, some other people.
Very encouraging to hear, Prabhuji. You completed 5 or 6 times from June onwards. It is a change, very big change.
Dharmasya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavati Pashata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajinishta Murtya.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajinasta Murtayam.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajinishta Murtya.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajinista Murtayam.
Narayano Nara Iti Swatapaha Prabhavaha.
Narayano Narayati Swatapaha Prabhavaha.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Drishtatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Drishtatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Devyastu Anga Pritana Ghatitum Nashekuhu.
Devastu Anga Pratna Gatitum Nahi Shekhu.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtam.
Narayano Nara Iti Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Narayano Narayati Swatapaha Prabhavaha.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Drishtvatamo Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Devyastu Ananga Pritana Ghatitum Nashekuhu.
Devastu Anga Pratna Gatitum Nakeshekhu.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtam.
Narayano Nara Iti Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Narayano Narayati Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Vishwatamo Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Devyastu Ananga Pritana Ghatitum Nashekuhu.
Devastu Angananaga Pratna Nashekhu.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Narayano Nara Iti Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Narayano Narayati Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Drishvatmamo Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Devyastu Ananga Pritana Ghatitum Nashekuhu.
Ananga Pratna Gatitum Nashekhu.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtyam.
Narayano Nara Iti Satapaha Prabhavaha.
Narayano Narayati Swapaha Prabhavaha.
Vishwatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Drishvatamo Bhagavato Niyamavalopam.
Ananga Pritana Ghatitum Nashekuhu.
Devastu Anga Pratna Gatitum Nashekhu.
Dharmasya
Dharmasya. Prabhuji, one request. Screen is not shared, so we are not able to read. We are not able to read,
How we are
Prabhuji.
chatting? Opa.
By listening to you, we were chanting but struggling.
Oh, I forgot. This is one problem that I guess. You don't know when we are sharing. Yesterday, Hindi, I took the whole class and everybody is muted and nobody could see what I was doing. Chalo, we'll chant one more. Dharmasya daksha duhitari ajanishta murtyam.
Dharmasya daksha duhitari ajanishta murtyam.
Narayana nara iti satapaha prabhavaha.
Narayano nara
iti prabhavaha.
Vishvatmano bhagavato niyamavalopam.
Drishatmano bhagavato niyamavalopam.
Devyastu ananga pratana gatitum na shekuhu.
Shekuhu.
Dharmasya daksha duhitari ajanishta murtyam.
Dharmasya daksha duhitari adinishta murtyam.
Narayana nara iti satapaha prabhavaha.
Narayano nara iti tapaha prabhavaha.
Vishvatmano bhagavato niyamavalopam.
Drishatmano bhagavato niyamavalopam.
Devyastu ananga pratana gatitum na shekuhu.
Vyasato ananga pratana ghatitum na shekuhu.
Dharmasya
Dharmasya.
of dharma,
Of dharma.
controller of religious principles.
The controller of religious
principles.
Daksha,
Daksha.
Daksha,
Daksha.
Prajapatis,
One of the Prajapatis.
Prajapatis.
Sari,
Duhitari.
the daughter,
Unto the daughter.
Janishta,
Ajanishta. Took birth.
Tya,
Murtyam.
Murti,
Of the name Murti. Narayanaha.
Narayana.
Nara,
Naraha.
Nara,
Nara.
Iti. Thus.
Thus.
Swatapaha.
personal penances,
Personal penances.
Bhavaha,
Prabhavaha.
strength, Vishwa,
Drishva.
by seeing,
By seeing.
Atmanaha,
Atmanaha.
known,
Of his own.
Bhagavataha,
Bhagavataha.
of the personality of Godhead.
Of
the personality of Godhead.
Godhead.
Niyama avalopam,
Niyama
Niyama
avalopam.
avalopam.
taking the vow,
Breaking the vow.
Devyaha,
Devyaha.
celestial beauties,
Celestial beauties.
but
But.
Ananga Pritanaha,
Ananga Pratanaha.
companion of Cupid,
Companion of Cupid.
Atitum,
Ghatitum.
happen,
To happen.
now, never,
Never.
Shekuhu.
Shekuhu.
Made possible. Made possible.
to exhibit his personal way of austere in penance, he appeared in twin forms as Narayana Nara in the womb of Murti, the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauty, the companions of Cupid, went to try to break his vows, but they were unsuccessful. Father saw the many beauties like them emanating from him, the personality of God. Repeat after me. To exhibit his personal way of austerity and penance,
To exhibit his personal way of austerity and penance.
he appeared
He appeared
forms,
in twin forms.
Narayana
As Narayana.
and Nara,
And Nara.
womb of Murti,
In the womb of Murti.
Murti.
the wife of Dharma,
Wife of Dharma.
Dharma.
and the daughter of Daksha.
And the daughter of Daksha.
Celestial beauties,
Celestial beauties.
companions of Cupid,
The companions
Companions of Cupid.
had to try to break his vows.
went to try to break
Try to
his
break
vows.
his vows.
They were unsuccessful.
But
They
they
were
were
unsuccessful.
For they saw
They saw
many beauties like them
that many beauties like them
were emanating from him,
were emanating from him.
personality of Godhead.
the personality of
Personality
Godhead.
of Godhead.
Yeah, who is going to read the purport?
May I read it, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Today? Yeah. The Lord being the source. Yes, Prabhu. slightly upwards, Prabhu. The Lord being the source. I'm not able to see the first line, Prabhu. The Lord being the source of everything that be is the origin of and penance of all austerity and penances also. Great wars of austerity are undertaken by sages to achieve success in self-realization. Human life is meant for such tapasya with the great vow of celibacy or brahmacharya. In the rigid life of tapasya, there is no place for the association of women. And because human life is meant for tapasya, for self-realization, factual human civilization as conceived by the system of Sanatana Dharma or the school of four castes and four orders of life prescribes rigid disassociation from women in the three stages of life. In the order of gradual cultural development, one's life may be divided into four divisions: celibacy, household life, retirement, and renunciation. During the first stage of life, up to 25 years of age, a man may be trained as a brahmachari under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, just to understand that woman is the real binding force in material existence. If one wants to get freedom from the material bondage of conditional life, he must get free from the attraction for the form of woman. Woman, or the fair sex, is the enchanting principle for the living entities, and the male form, especially in the human being, is meant for self-realization. The whole world is moving under the spell of womanly attraction, and as soon as a man becomes united with a woman, he at once becomes a victim of material bondage under a tight knot. The desires for lording it over the material world under the intoxication of a false sense of lordship specifically began just after the man's unification with a woman. The desire for acquiring a house, possessing land, having children, and becoming prominent in society, the affection for community and the place of birth, and the hankering for wealth, which are all phantasmagoria or illusory dreams, encumber a human being, and he is thus impeded in his progress towards self-realization, the real aim of life. The brahmachari, or a boy from the age of 5 years, especially from the higher caste, namely from the scholarly parents, the brahmanas, the administrative parents, the kshatriyas, or the mercantile or productive parents, the vaishyas, is trained under 25 years of age under the care of a bona fide guru or a teacher, and under strict observance of discipline, he comes to understand the values of life along with taking specific training for a livelihood. The brahmachari is then allowed to go home and enter householder life and get married to a suitable woman. But there are many brahmacharis who do not go home to become householders, but continue the life of Naistika brahmacharis without any connection with women. They accept the order of sannyasa or the renounced order of life, knowing well that combination with women is an unnecessary burden that checks self-realization. Since sex desire is very strong at a certain age of life, the guru may allow the brahmachari to marry. This license is given to a brahmachari who is unable to continue the way of Naistika brahmacharya, and such discriminations are possible for the bona fide guru. A program of so-called family planning is needed. The householder who associates with women under scriptural restrictions after a thorough training of brahmacharya cannot be a householder
like cats and dogs.
Like cats and dogs. Such a householder after 50 years of age would retire from the association of women as a vanaprastha, to be trained to live alone without the association of women. When the practice is complete, the same retired householder becomes a sannyasi, strictly separate from woman, even from his married wife. Studying the whole scheme of disassociation from women, it appears that a woman is a stumbling block for self-realization, and the Lord appeared as Narayana to teach the principle of womanly disassociation with a woe in life. The demigods, being envious of the austere life of the rigid brahmacharis, would try to cause them to break their vows by dispatching soldiers of Cupid. But in the case of the Lord, it became an unsuccessful attempt. When the celestial beauties saw that the Lord can produce innumerable such beauties by his mystic internal potency, and that there was consequently no need to be attracted by others externally. There is a common proverb that a confectioner is never attracted by sweetmeats. The confectioner, who is always manufacturing sweetmeats, has very little desire to eat them. Similarly, the Lord, by his pleasure potency, can produce innumerable spiritual beauties
And
and not be the least attracted by the false beauties of material creation. One who does not know alleges foolishly that Lord Krishna enjoyed women in his Ras Leela in Vrindavana or with his 16,000 married wives at Dwaraka. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashad Deshatarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Ajanishta Murtya
Dharmasya dakshadhitari agnishtamurtyam
Narayana Iti Satapaha Prabhavaha
Narayano narayiti swatapaha prabhavaha
Atmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam
Drishtvatmano bhagavato niyamavalokam
Sananga Pratananga Titum Nasheko.
Devasvanana gratitum na sheko.
Where ostrated penance, he appeared in twin forms, and Narayana, the woman, moved to the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauty with the company of the Cupid went tried to break his vows, but they were unsuccessful, for they saw the many beauties like them emanating from him, the personality of God. So, how do we understand the shloka? Acharya is saying women are not good. Sometimes people may get different kind of ideas. Okay? So it has to be properly understood. I'll just explain. Today I was taking the final chapter and I was making them look at a particular picture. I think that picture shows what the shloka Prabhupada is trying to say. Look at this picture. How? Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Can you see all women disciples so happy?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not that Acharya. In fact, he is the only person maybe in the history who gave Brahmin Diksha to women. He was the only person who allowed even brahmacharini ashrams in America. And maybe the only person who allowed them to even do worship in the temple. They were worshipping in the temple. What is Prabhupada mentioning here in this purport is that the distance to, you can see they're there, but there is a distance being maintained. Can you see that boys and girls are not sitting together? There is a little distance being maintained. That's all it is meant for. What is woman for a man, man is for a woman. They say fire and butter will bring together, butter will melt. Correct? So we know the conditioned situation today, we have to be very careful in the sense that which we are not liberated today, but still the Maya can act on us. Therefore, we should maintain the rules of the ashramas. Correct? The rules of the ashramas give some distance, some rules. We talk, but not that we're going to sit on each other. Not going to sit privately. How are you? Are you? No, we maintain the rules of ashram. So everything is maintained. Everybody is happy. So I remember when I used to tell in college this word, the free mixing of boys and girls is a symptom of degradation of civilization. Proper statement. Immediately the boys say we don't agree with this. Straight away. Now in the modern day setup, just to say that nobody will agree. This is considered very kind of orthodox. But Prabhupada said, in fact, when Prabhupada went to America and he saw so many divorces, he saw Prabhupada said, this is a great malady in this country. He looked at it like, they was like a grandfather's age, 70-year-old person, and he's seeing youngsters messing up their personal life. It's a great malady in the social system. And there was a lot of protest. A lot of girls came to fight with him in the news. Prabhupada said, no, this is not correct. You have seen the interviews, they're arguing with him. Prabhupada said, no, there should be some distance maintained. This is wrong, but people could not appreciate. He didn't care about it. In a technical terms to see, somebody said we felt as if Prabhupada himself has become publicity disaster because they found a point to attack. But Prabhupada had not gone to entertain the Americans. He was what is true for him. He didn't care. And you see, because he was not just entertaining and speaking people what is right or wrong, how much love they developed for him. This you can see, look at the face. They just love him. He's not able to compromise on the star. He knows it's not good for their life. They're there. Anyway, they're not there. They're all there. Can you see that some distance is maintained? That's all. That's all Prabhupada is saying. Otherwise, it can be a blockade in spiritual life. I'm in a physical association with women. I'm not able to practice spiritual life. Therefore, in the neophyte stages, there is very much need to keep the senses away from sense object. For a woman, man becomes the sense object. For a man, woman is the sense object. And biologically, a function behaves like that. The Narayana Rishi, therefore, coming back to the shloka, so everybody got the picture what Prabhupada is trying to say. Not that, like there are some spiritual movement, will not name them. If a Swamiji is giving class, means no woman should be there in the hall only, no visible. Now, ISKCON is not a movement like that. Once what happened, one devotee told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, the temple hall when I'm doing japa, if woman is there, I get distracted. Prabhupada became so angry at him, better go to the forest, don't sit in the city then. But it speaking like that. So he gave everybody an opportunity to practice spiritual life. And in fact, his female disciples so attached to him, he accounts of them. He was so loving and caring to everybody. But he wanted them to follow what the Varnashma means. Brahmacharya, what does it mean anyway? Brahmacharya means there is no personal relationship with the woman. Private, personal relationship. No, that is not allowed. How are you? No. You have to have some little bit of distance. And that's all proper achieved by simple rules. You see, everybody is there. Can you see the woman out there? They're all there, correct? But can you see very physically, can you see this picture? They're maintaining some distance. That's it. That's all it meant. Equal opportunity. When Prabhupada used to say they go out for Harinam, unmarried girls, unmarried boys don't go together. That are simple rules to be maintained. That's all. Some basic rules, which small rules, but they make a lot of meaning in spiritual life, and the spiritual lives are protected. So Narayana and Rishi, coming back to them, are giving an example for tapasya. They're teaching us. Krishna teaches everything by his own example. How to do tapasya? Krishna teaches. So here he's teaching Narayana Rishi doing tremendous tapasya in Himalayas. And it's not visible for you because you cannot see them. But they are there in the Himalayas doing tapasya even now. When Madhvacharya went to meet Vedavyasa, not only Vedavyasa gave him darshan and gave him instruction, he brought him to the vicinity, Narayana and Rishi, and got him blessing by even them. Yes, there, and the blessings of people like Narayana and Rishi. Narayana is the Lord himself. And Narayana, who is that? Nara? Arjuna. Never in vain. So whenever you're doing tapasya, you earn a lot of punya. You understand? What is punya now? Punya means you are careful. So punya means we are careful not to do certain activity, which is not good for you. Every time you act responsibly, that is punya. Punya. And you can share the punya phala. And but the punya phala is real currency. You can even get a post of the devatas, including Indra, topmost post among the devatas. Not to mention Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Below that, the devatas are led by the king Indra. So now Indra is the king among them, and you can get that post by tapasya. Tapasya is nothing but punya. It's a currency. You have enough money, you can get anything you want. You can buy a car. You can even bring. This is not material currency. This is punya. It's not the paper we have. It's punya, the real currency to achieve anything. You can get comforts. You can really enjoy if you have enough punya. And punya means acting responsibly and saying no to Maya. Every time you say yes to Krishna, you say yes to activities for self-purification. That's punya. That's punya. So a lot of punya, if it is there, you can get the post of even Indra. Shri Radha Govinda ki. So now what happens is that the Indra gets worried whenever there is somebody doing intense tapasya. Like Vishwamitra doing intense tapasya, he got worried. Oh my God, this guy may get my post, may take over my post. Because all punya is the real currency. And therefore he said Menaka and Vishwamitra have slipped. But here also he sent some Cupid with some woman to entice Narayana Rishi. Came to they're doing great tapasya in the Himalayas. And here it is. Narayana Rishi, Narayana started laughing. He created celestial beauty more beautiful than what was brought to them. And the Cupid, what is this? The Lord cannot be enticed. We should always know that. Sometimes they say Krishna enjoyed beauty. Why he has to enjoy? He can create unlimited beauty in 1 second. We should know what is God. He can create millions of beauties, much beautiful than the universe has, just by wishful thinking in a second. What are you talking God enjoys? Some strange ideas they get. Krishna enjoyed movement. As if he can create trillion movement at one moment. You don't even know how God is great. So we have Prabhupada to laugh that people have such strange ideas about the Lord. Krishna is so beautiful. And this is the rasa of this, what people enjoy. We should not compare to Krishna's enjoyment. Krishna's enjoyment, Radharani, or with the gopis, or with the Rukmini and the queens, is all spiritual. It's pure love. In this world, only thing you know is lust. When you say woman, we want to enjoy her. That is lust. But Krishna relation is all pure love. Therefore, unless the heart is purified, we do not discuss Radha Krishna Leela. Like in Gita 18 course, I just don't talk about it. It's too raw to talk about Radha Krishna Leela. Sometimes they mention, just briefly mention, it's a pure love. That's it. The details can't be given because heart is not pure. And when heart is not pure, what is the mistake? Atmavat manato jagat. What do? We project. Atmavat manato. We project ourselves in another person. We think he's also like me. Like when Haridas Thakur was doing tapasya, Ramachandra Kant thought he's also impostor like me, just making a show of devotion. He was wrong. Haridas Thakur was sincere. The same way, we may project ourselves on the Lord itself. And you see here the Krishna dancing with the gopis, we may get mentally agitated. The Prabhupada says, stop it immediately, don't read. If you're in that condition of life where you cannot understand the position of the Lord and the gopis, it's not meant for you. This is pure love. But if you're projecting lust of yourself into them, then it's not healthy for your spiritual life. So therefore, everything is taken at a particular stage of life, and we should understand the Lord's position as total Atmanava, totally satisfied in himself. Parikshit Maharaj explains this so many, asked this question to Shukadeva Goswami. Krishna came to establish Dharma, but then why is he sitting with so many women, both in Vrindavan and at Dwaraka? He said, see, try to understand. In the Tejiya Sham Yana Dosha, Krishna is so powerful that actually there is no dosha in him. He is rather making, like a sun makes a urine also purified. Krishna's relationship was total pure. And the woman approached him to accept in the Madhurya Rasa. That's all the Lord is doing. He's reciprocating. Krishna doesn't say no. He's reciprocating with them. He's the Supreme Lord. A pure love. He reciprocates pure love. Krishna doesn't reciprocate with lust. Okay? So, but this cannot be understood at this stage when the heart is steeped in lust. Therefore, we wait for heart to get purified. Bhagavatam Prabhupada says the Paramahamsa Samhita. Why a pure sage like Shukamuni will talk about woman relation to man? Why will he even talk about it? He's so liberated sage that even Narada was hearing him. Shukamuni, very great sage. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was so exalted, he was so strict that woman disciple could not even come near to him, pay obeisance at a distance. But he used to whole life meditate on Radha Krishna Leela. Why? That's all pure love. There is no tinge of lust in it. Okay, but this we will need difficult to understand this, therefore we misunderstand. Okay, so in that proper perspective to understand, so Nana Rishi are doing tapasya always. And here it is that somebody approached them, the Cupid, to try to test their vows. Not only they passed his test, they were not attracted to all the celestial women he brought. They produced another set of celestial women, which were even more beautiful than what he brought. And then there was a surprise. Oh my, what's happening here? What's happening here? So that's Narayana Rishi. And they are giving an example. Because the human form of life, tapasya is very important. And most important part of tapasya is brahmacharya. Now you'll all appreciate this, that if you know me as a brahmachari, and now I know you know I'm maintaining some private girlfriend, you lose all respect for me at that one moment. So first important tapasya is brahmacharya, controlling of sex desire. That is the first element of tapasya. Tapasa brahmacharyena. Tapasa brahmacharyena yamena dhamena va tyagena sauchavyam yamena niyamena va. So tapasya begins with brahmacharya. That is the meaning of tapasya. Tapasya is nothing else, brahmacharya. So it's very important to strictly follow the vows of brahmacharya. What does brahmacharya mean? A no private relationship. How are you? How are you fine? And you see in the hostels, hours the girls and boys are talking, simply laughing. No. For what purpose? There is no utility in that kind of private relationship. That should not be done. That is tapasya. Tapasya. Today that is neglected. And what is the result? We see one instance from Bhagavatam. There was a Devayani, the daughter of Shukracharya, and Sarmishta, another girl. Sharmishta was a Kshatriya girl and Devyani was a Brahmana girl. Both of them they were bathing in a river and with other girls. And generally when the girls bathe in a river, you're not wearing clothes. Suddenly Lord Shiva happened to pass that place. So these are all, so immediately they tried to wear the clothes. In a hurry, Sarmishta wore one cloth of Devyani because the clothes are lying there. And Devyani took an offense for that. What is this? You are a Kshatriya and you wear a Brahmin girl my clothes. What do you think of yourself? And Kshatriya can't tolerate an insult like that. She became so angry. She took all the clothes away from her and threw her naked in a well and walked away. Sharmishta. So now Devyani was lying naked in a well and shivering. Nobody's there. And she walked away. Happened to be that place one king came, Yayati. And when he came for water in the well, he looked, my God, a beautiful girl sitting in the well naked. Said, I should help her out. So he said, I'll throw a rope. But somehow she was become so weak that she could not even hold the rope and come out. And he put his turban, whatever, she could not. He was avoiding to touch her. Because Vedic rule is, if you hold the hand of a woman, you have to marry her. So he was avoiding to even touch her. But finally, seeing all the situation, he had to save her life. He went down to the well and physically pulled her out of the well. Or whatever, held her hand and pulled her out of the well. He was avoiding. But Vedic rule is, if you touch a hand of a woman, you have to marry her. Now what to do? When she came out, he said, I'm very sorry. But she said, no, now you have to marry me. Because he held my hand. So what can I do? I'm a Kshatriya. He said, no, rule is rule. You held my hand, you have to marry me. So then they approached Shukracharya. Shukracharya said, that's fine. You can marry my daughter, but under one condition. you'll not have relation with other women. Okay, generally, girls should marry a boy who's better than her, because men's tendency is to control. The men is not as spiritually and morally mature as the girl, they're going to problem in house, because he's trying to control and the woman is more advanced, they're going to be a mess. Therefore, always Brahmana can marry a Kshatriya girl, not reverse. This is unusual, but situation, but this is the condition for. But the point here I'm taking is that today we are not so strict about it. When you're shaking hands, suppose you go to a company and there are people all shaking hands. You don't shake hands with a girl, is considered unusual. Why? You say hello, why? Shake hand here also. You cannot discriminate. Particularly in America, it's considered very bad. You should not discriminate. But has this liberty helped us? Okay, we created a different kind of society. But shaking hand to do so many things more, and they don't marry. And they live together without marriage. They've gone to this extent today. But has it helped? It does not help. It has social structure that becomes so disturbed today because of that. That is the malady Prabhupada was watching in America. He said, what is this? They're not following some distance should be there. What is all this? Shaking hand and then hugging each other, doing everything, not marrying. What is this so strange? Prabhupada found it. Prabhupada said, what is this? It's not good. It's not good. And girls came to fight with them. Why are you discriminating like this? So, no, this is wrong. It became, people all press conferences, this will be the issue. The women journalists will come and fight with him on this. No, you should maintain some distance. I used to fight, but Prabhupada did not budge from it. He says, great social malady in this country, Prabhupada. Great social malady. This is wrong. So we may say we have advanced, we can do anything together and still not get married, but has it helped? It does not help actually. Now marriage has become a joke. This is the help it has made. People just throw a marriage and say, what is that? I don't think I'm happy and the woman just walks out of the marriage. It does not help. In fact, this whole social structure is so disturbed because of this. But Vedic time, it was very nice. If the woman looks at a man for in a relationship, it's only her husband. And the woman looks at the woman, man looks at only his wife. And just a Maya is like dovetailing the Maya. Therefore, every man used to feel his wife is very beautiful. Because how will the marriage function otherwise? And every woman feels her husband is beautiful. Because actually there is no beauty. We're just packet of student beauty. But then the Maya works limited to one person. So the mind is very peaceful, very peaceful. Correct? Very peaceful. So the people can live a peaceful, healthy life. So this was arranged by the system. The Vedic systems are actually systems. And in these systems, when a person functions, mind is very peaceful and he can focus his life for spiritual advancement. Otherwise, sometimes this another question comes. Why is it you can become a sannyasi without becoming grahastha? The people say, no, you have to first go to grahastha ashram, then you know what is married life, then you go to sannyasa. No. Prabhupada is saying a brahmachari can remain naishtika brahmachari all through the life and take sannyasa. There is no need for him, not compulsory for him to attend grahastha ashram. That is another point which is mentioned in this verse. And apart from so many other things mentioned. Yes, any questions?
Swamiji, I have a request.
Yeah.
If you read the whole line once for all, it's difficult for me to follow. If you read half sentence, then again half sentence, then we'll be able to follow and repeat it. If you don't mind, if I am wrong, I'm sorry.
No, when we shloka we chant, you're telling. You unmute yourself, Mataji. Hare Krishna. You can unmute yourself, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, even I'm feeling difficulty in saying the whole sentence, Prabhuji.
Shloka.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Now in the beginning we can do word by word and then the whole shloka together. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like we can do dharma. Yeah, some preachers do like that. They make chant one word over. And to save time, we do like that. But we get it actually. Few times we chant, we are able to get it. Okay. We do like in the beginning, we can chant the words individually, then together. That helps. I understand it.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna, any other questions? No questions today. So heavy
Prabhuji,
subject.
Prabhuji, may I ask one question? Prabhuji, this is Yashwant Tota. May I ask one question, please?
Kota ji, boli.
Sir, we have covered lot of ground with this shloka. One question I have is the discretion of the master, the guru, in terms of the order of bachelorhood, grihasthashram and vanaprastha. I think the guru, it is said, will decide, and that is slightly confusing for me, Prabhuji.
No, see what happens. Today, Upanayana was more like a fashion, correct? But previously, it was a very serious point. At that, he doesn't take any big decision without consulting Guru, including marriage. He discusses with him. You got it? That is the point. Any major decision
Yes,
in life,
Prabhu, I got it. I got it.
what do you say, Guruji?
I got it. So it is. Ji.
Not that which girl I'm going to marry. That Guru will not get into that. But can he? Is there a need? Guru may say you try for some more time. You can remain, because ideally for spiritual life, Prabhupada used to laugh. And when he had both, he had girls in his brahmachari ashram and he had boys in the brahmachari ashram. So all the girls should get married and all the brahmacharis should remain brahmacharis. And one letter is there to the president of a temple. All the girls should get married and all the boys should remain brahmacharis. And now you manage. Now you manage. Telling the president.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Ideally,
Yes,
they try to remain, but reality speaking, 70-80% will become grahastha. That's the reality. That's the reality. He is, realistic. But try to remain brahmachari. And all the girls, girls better they get married because they need somebody to physically protect them. Correct? They need some sense of protection. But man, he said, if he can remain brahmachari, good enough. No problem. And you see, Prabhupada sees the result wise. Prabhupada's sannyasi godbrothers had gone to England to launch the movement and they had failed. The Guru became so disappointed. They were sent by the money of Gaudiya Math. He called them back. Okay. And Prabhupada sent 3 Grihastha couples to England. And they did such a miracle. They did huge preaching. And a message came in London Times. Krishna chant startles London. Just 6 of them. Krishna chant startles London. People are stunned by their chant. They're going to streets and chanting, and people are appreciating. And this news, they sent Prabhupada this message. Prabhupada was very happy. The Prabhupada replied, what my sannyasis could not do, my grahastha disciples have done. He replied that. So he was very encouraged. He gave opportunity to everybody. Not that you see many leaders in his movement, Prabhupada's movement was grahastha. He's not the only sannyasi who was making leaders. No. They were heads of the institution, they were GBCs, many were grahasthas. So Prabhupada had no discrimination like that. All Prabhupada wanted was that everybody follow the ashram in which they stay peacefully. Correct? If I'm a brahmachari, but my life is like a grahastha, that is not. Be honest, truthful, and accept responsibility. See, grahastha ashram means he is engaging in the movement, but in accepting the responsibility of the children and the wife after that. Correct?
Yes.
But in America, what Prabhupada found out when he landed up, man who mates a woman. Woman get pregnant and the man runs away. This is so common in America. And the woman now, nobody for shelter because house they have left long time ago. Many girls are not connected to the parent. Then they have to beg the government to maintain them. Prabhupada, is this good? Is this good? What is all this nonsense? When a relation is happening, there should be marriage. Then there is a commitment to take care of the wife and children. Correct?
Yes.
Even today, we have been in college. The last news the boy wants to hear, the girlfriend is pregnant. The last news he wants to hear.
Yes.
They don't want responsibility. When you enjoy, then accept the responsibility. Correct?
Yes.
So Vedas was very strict and very good. And even that system, you are holding the hand and getting married, you think about it, it's a very deep system. Because
Yes,
they know
sir.
chemistry. One college I know, the dean was talking to me, was saying what I feel objection to is the boys and girls traveling together in a bike together. I said, why? He said, the physical touching is there. I said, yes, that will blow the mind. Correct? Therefore, gap should be maintained. You understand?
Yes.
He had a right wrong. They say he was telling me that I feel honored when I see them together like that. They're physically touching each other. That will, I said, definitely blow their mind.
Ji Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, I understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Looks traditional, looks orthodox, but is actually for the happy society. People are happy and peaceful when they follow some rules and regulations. You saw the picture, they're so happy. More we follow rules, more we become happy. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Any other comment? Yes. Pooja Vrinda Devidasi Mataji. Hare.
Yeah, I read it in that this thing, Vaishnava etiquette only course, what you have taught just now, that women should get married, I mean, girls should get married and boys should remain brahmacharis. It's written, it's written that. But how is it? Some people asked, so the wife should get a good Vaishnava husband to protect her. So all women should get married and boys should remain as brahmacharis. It's written that. So I just remembered. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada had expert guidance always. And now telling president that letter, and then he's saying, now you manage. This is always go to manage that, you know. Okay. Okay, we're done with that. Dash, Hare Krishna Dash, is there or gone now?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Where are you? Hare Krishna. Yeah. Would like to sing something? Long time we
Yes,
heard.
Prabhuji.
What you like to sing today? Anything.
Prabhuji, can I sing Ramachandra Raghuvira?
Oh, because
Today is Dashra.
for you today, yesterday, no? Dashara. Aaj bhi hai, chalo. Chalo, good.
Yeah, I know this song. Ramachandra Raghuvira, Ramachandra Ranadira, Ramachandra Raghuvira, Ramachandra Ranadira, Ramachandra Raghuvira,
Chandra Ranadira. Ramachandra Raghurama, Ramachandra Parandama, Ramachandra Raghurama, Ramachandra Parandama. Ramachandra Parandama.
Ramachandra Mama Bandhu,
Ramachandra Dayanando. Ramachandra Dayanando. Ramachandra Raghuveera.
Ramachandra Raghuveera, Ramachandra Ranadhira.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Vancha kalpata
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Evacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavevo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavindiki
Jai.
ki jai.
Jai.